Okay, so I actually had like a totally different YouTube video planned today, and I'm just gonna move forward with this one because I feel like this is just so important to talk about, and this is something I personally have struggled with so much throughout the entirety of my journey with being a fitness coach, or at least when I first started, and now even being a business coach and coaching other fitness coaches. This is something that is so prevalent that I see. Also, I just want to apologize really quickly, guys. I'm in Tulum and I didn't bring mics with me, and I usually have my content creator, you know, the whole shindig. So I'm filming this. You guys are gonna hear birds chirping in the background. You guys are probably gonna see a few videos here of me in Tulum because your girl likes to content batch. So bear with me throughout this video. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let us dive in, my friends. There is this, I'm gonna say crisis, and almost epidemic in the coaching space. This is something I see so frequently. So if you guys don't know, my name is Kendall. You guys can call me Coach Ken. I have been an online fitness coach for about 5.5 years, almost 6, and I've been an online business coach for fitness professionals for the past 3 or so years. Something that I've seen so frequently is so many coaches feel like they have imposter syndrome. They feel like they're not showing up well for content. They have a hard time bringing clarity to what their offer is, how they should show up online. I've actually broken this down to like maybe 7 out of 10 times. The problem isn't actually imposter syndrome. There's actually a root cause of the imposter syndrome. And what a lot of this looks like is most of the time it's that this coach or these fitness coaches aren't taking care of their own health at an optimal level. They are maybe tracking their macros, they're going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, but oftentimes what I see is their body is extremely stressed, they're not making the progress that they want. Maybe they're even sometimes falling off of the gym, falling off of tracking, and they're not being a good client themselves. And because of that, what's happening is they feel like an imposter because they aren't doing the thing that they're telling their clients to do. They're not walking the walk and they're not talking the talk. What I'm saying is, it doesn't mean as a fitness coach you can't have your own problems. Like, I have seen it time and time again. Even with myself, I struggled hardcore with gut and digestive health issues a while back. And I'm actually gonna share something with you guys that I really have never shared online. And I think it's time for me to just kind of come clean and talk to you guys about this a little bit more. So I struggled, and I'll put a picture right here. I struggled a bunch with my gut and digestive health back in 2018, 2019. And I was only like a year post show, so I competed in a bodybuilding show. I didn't reverse diet up really well. What happened was my body was really deprived. It was really stressed. I was training 5 to 6 days a week, and I was really stressed in my business. I was burnt out, I was overworked, and I wasn't passionate about the exact thing that I was doing at the time because I knew that I was meant to be doing something bigger, which was also business coaching. I wouldn't hire anybody, so I was just doing all the work myself, and it was really tough. At the same time, moving into 2020, right around the time I believe it was like where COVID hit, is I started taking Adderall. I got prescribed Adderall and I got put on ADHD medication, and I took that and I could not come off of it. I was so reliant on it, and at the same time I was drinking a ton of caffeine. And I haven't talked about this here on social, but it was actually a huge problem for me. I couldn't come off the Adderall. I was drinking multiple Monsters a day, coffee. It was really bad. At the time, I was still fitness coaching, and it was so hard for me in business because I felt like such an imposter. Now, I'm not saying that you're somebody who maybe has like an Adderall addiction or an Adderall problem or a stimulant problem or even caffeine problem, but maybe you're a coach who just isn't optimally taking care of their health. For me, it was funny. Like, I was tracking macros at the time. I was training 5, 6 days a week, but the issue for me was I wasn't really focused on the micros I was getting in my body. I wasn't really focused on wholesome nutrition. I was just really focused on hitting the macros. And I teach people how to track their own macros. I teach people how to feel good about the foods that they're eating and make sure they're getting in a good macro profile, but that doesn't mean you're getting in a good nutrient profile all the time. For me back then, something that was really difficult was I realized like I need to reduce stress on my body. I need to cut and kick this caffeine and Adderall problem for myself. And now I'm not saying as a coach or as an entrepreneur that you necessarily need to go this whole holistic route and eat raw vegan or like eat greens all day and drink your green juice, right? What I'm saying is, as coaches, one of the biggest downfalls for us is that we want to grind, we want to hustle, we want to make money, we want to help people. Oftentimes, especially if you're a fitness coach or even just a coach in general, if you're a service-based entrepreneur, you should be serving yourself first. And when you're not doing that, it's really hard to show up in a way that you feel congruent. And so that's what happened to me. I had a really puffy face, I was really low energy, I hated showing up, I felt like an imposter, I was giving my clients advice, and it was honestly really hard for me to take that advice. Now, that being said, I was still getting my clients incredible results, they were still following protocols, but I kept asking myself, like, how much longer can I keep doing this to myself? And I want to share this because I think a lot of people and a lot of coaches don't share this. And oftentimes what happens is they have this massive internal battle with themselves where they feel like an imposter, they feel like they're not doing a good job as a coach, or they have a hard time showing up because they're like, who am I to be speaking of these things? When oftentimes when you share what you're going through, a lot of people are going to relate to you. I didn't share this when I was going through it, but I want to share it now because I want to give people more context. I want to make other people feel like they can be themselves and be vulnerable online. Here's the big thing now pushing into where I'm currently at is I took huge bouts and huge leaps towards controlling my health and just having way better health back in end of like 2021 into 2022, and 2022 was probably the healthiest year I had of my entire life. 2023 is going to be even better, where I actually gave up macro tracking for a little bit and I went down to a 4-day training split. My main goal was to reduce stress on my body, eat nutrient dense foods. I was juicing once a day. Now again, I'm not saying you have to go and juice. I know a lot of people hate on juicing. It's not bad for you. You get more micros in. I'm still eating my full profile of foods. Juicing is an added bonus. A lot of people are like, don't juice, it's bad for you. It's not bad for you. It's bad for you if you're only juicing and not eating real food. It was really important for me to look at, okay, getting enough fats in my diet, getting enough macronutrients in my diet without necessarily tracking them. I could have tracked this whole last year and been completely fine. I just chose not to. And I love the way that my physique looks. I have a lot more mental capacity. I have a lot more cognition. I have a lot more energy. It's so much easier for me to show up to my business coaching students who are also fitness coaches and say, hey, what's your caffeine intake at? Are you eating any micronutrients throughout the day? Are you eating enough macros yourself? Are you eating enough calories yourself? We can dish it, but can we take it? This is something I think so many coaches, especially fitness coaches, are struggling with right now. I literally think it's a crisis, an epidemic. I see like literally 7 out of 10 coaches. And I'm not saying that you need to have pristine, crystal, clear, amazing, beautiful health. What I'm saying is that if you want to show up and have more mental clarity is the driver of decision making, it's the driver of execution. If you want to be a better executor, if you want to make better decisions, if you want to have a better offer, if you want to have a better client success journey, those are all things that require you to have mental clarity, because when you have mental clarity, you can create your vision more. If this is something that you're struggling with, what I recommend is sitting down with yourself and getting really serious about your goals for this next year, or just this next month, this next week, right? Are you dishing it and not taking it yourself? I'm not saying that you have to have perfect, beautiful health, but what I'm saying is, can you focus on things like your skincare? Can you focus on things like your gut health? Can you focus on optimizing your energy? Because when you do those things, what ends up happening is your physique ends up falling into a place where you love it. You end up having more clear skin. Like, I'm obsessed with the way my skin looks compared to even 6 months ago, a year ago. It's things like having more energy and cognition to be able to show up every day. And it's also this premise of being able to show up on your story on Instagram, being able to post content, talk about your own journey, knowing that you are doing the thing that you want other people to do. Like, if I don't have systems and organization, if I'm not keeping up with my YouTube video a week, if I'm not keeping up with my daily posts on Instagram, if I'm not keeping up with my story post on social media, like, who am I to be teaching other people to have content consistency? If I'm not doing mindset work and my own health work, who am I to be giving my clients self-mastery work? And that's the way that I look at it. And it's not to guilt myself into doing it, but it's to be an example, to be a role model, to be a leader to my clients. I want to ask you guys, like, where you're at right now. It's, can you evaluate your own health and honestly say, yes, I take the best possible care of myself. I'm doing recovery. I'm working out as I should be, or however much you set the goal. Are you disciplined? These are all things I really honestly want you guys to ask yourself and see, okay, do I need support with this? And if that is the case, I want you guys to just look down below. I'm going to offer some stuff down below for you guys that you guys can download for free if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, or you're just a high achieving woman who wants to improve your health. As I make this video, we're actually launching a 14-day challenge called the Grind and Glow Challenge. If you guys are watching this video, post video after the 9th, 10th, 20th January, you guys would have missed the challenge. What I will do is I'll drop the resources from the challenge down below after we run the challenge live, so you guys can opt in and you guys can see what that looks like, just to get some free resources on how you guys can improve your health through recovery, improve your productivity, improve your cognition. If this is something you guys struggle with, head to the links down below, or just reach out to me over on Instagram. I'm more than happy to just help you guys. I still run my fitness coaching company. We're energizing entrepreneurs. I still run our business coaching company, and we help entrepreneurs with self-mastery so that women can show up, have better cognitive function, and not go through this crisis. And if you're someone who resonates with the story that I shared personally in this video, please feel free to reach out to me. I have so many entrepreneurs and so many coaches getting diagnosed with ADHD, getting put on stimulants, and all of a sudden that whole entire thing becomes their identity, to where everything that they do, everything that happens, they blame on ADHD. They're like, oh, I can't do this because of ADHD. And I'm going to be super upfront. Like, I get it. I have it. I was diagnosed with it. It's a clinical diagnosis. When I got diagnosed, my ADHD symptoms like 10x, because I started to identify everything I did. I don't even tell people I have it anymore. In fact, I don't even think I really do. I call it attention dialed into a higher dimension. I simply just think faster than most people, and I can do a lot of different things in a 5-minute period. And sometimes I get distracted, and it's all good. But the more that I identified with it, the more I felt lost, and the more I felt like I wasn't able to keep working the way that I used to work and get a lot of shit done. And I started to have a lot of disbelief. And so if that's you and it's something you struggle with, I'm always going to stay within my scope of practice. But I mean, of course, you guys can reach out to me and talk to me about maybe if you're struggling with it or what that looks. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll have some resources down below for you. And if you guys have any questions about this, just message me over on Instagram and I will catch you in the next video.